Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. I hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are in the world. A couple of updates here for Bepro and also a bit of a chart update as well. So just a few announcements, if you like, of some partnerships. More recently, this one here, Clash Card Champions, play to earn blockchain trading card experience. Thought was actually really quite cool. So this is kind of like a digital format of like maybe trump cards kind of thing. So I thought it was really interesting. There's loads of different objectives, loads of different campaigns, loads of different games to play, and Bepro is obviously doing the big programming and coding behind this project. So this is one of the one project that is utilizing the grant system for Bepro. So it's really cool. Obviously it's still quite new, but I'm looking forward to seeing the first packs launching, etc., like we've seen with Fever, which we covered in a previous video as well, around the kind of sporting and football NFTs, like trading packs, trading cards, etc. So I'm really looking forward to this, and worth having a look at potentially getting involved in the IOD and listings of this kind of thing, because we know what gaming's like, especially in the NFT market. So I do recommend the white paper. We might even do a small quick video on this, just to ramp that up. I'll put a note down to do that. So I just thought I'd bring that little update to you guys on that as well. And there's loads of I don't know what this is about. I have to look at this properly, but that's pretty freaky. I'm probably gonna have nightmares now. Thanks for that, World Box TV. So I'll have a look at that one as well for the next video. But yeah, just a few really cool aspects of the grants program that we covered in one of the key reasons why we love Bepro videos a few weeks back. So really cool that others are getting involved as much as possible, and loads of different projects. So that's really cool. Let's go into the chart, guys. Before we do so, please make sure that if you haven't done so already, that you like this video, find it informative, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and press that notification bell to ensure you get notified of all the awesome updates we have coming away. So without that out the way, let's go to play in the charts. So here I've made a few changes to the previous one. Look at this, by the way. I'm just going to throw us out there. We hit all three of our buy points on the way down. So, obviously we don't say this is, you must follow this process and everything. We've still got this one down here as well, by the way. I'm wondering if we're going to hit that. And the reason we put these in here isn't because we're bearish on Bepro. It's one of our biggest bags. We love staking it. We love what it's going to be in the next few years. We're not too fussed personally about the movements this year, but we're doing this video, of course, for everyone else. But in terms of the historic data that we've got so far, certainly this year, we haven't seen too many support and resistance mechanisms around these lower regions of where we are now. And especially around here, we got this bullish momentum shot straight through, and we didn't really go and retest these areas that we haven't done so before. So forget this kind of perhaps area. I'm talking about this kind of area here, between maybe just under the 1 cent mark, all the way down to perhaps 0.07, 0.006 area. So this is really critical, and that's why we still got this area down here as a potential buy point. So it'll be really interesting to see if we get involved in that in the next few days. Why do we think that's going to still happen? We're still in a bearish momentum on the MACD. The gap is unfortunately widening still, and the histogram isn't showing very good movement at all, certainly for the last probably 2 weeks or so now. So hopefully something gives soon and we can start building up the momentum. But I think because of this gigantic run that we had here with the great news of various aspects of Bepro in that period of time, of course, time takes its toll. We did sort of have a trace down. We couldn't quite get the support that we needed to get higher than this level, drop down. And of course we had the Bitcoin nonsense quite recently, and to be fair, we didn't get a massive effect off that for Bepro, which is really good. These indicators here, I know they're a bit all over the place. We'll just go through this by one. So we got here in the sense of the aspect of growing this particular opportunity by 48%. We had the reduction of 42 and 41 as well, respectively, in these two areas. So it's quite interesting to see this complete drop. If we take this high point here from around the 24th of August, which links up to here, to this current sort of drop that we've got to at current time of recording, that is a 51% drop there. So I'm hoping that we don't see, if we do tail down to here, I think that probably would take it around to 60% maybe. So, I do always anticipate that when we have like these mega rises here, and in fact, if we just quickly put in another one just over this side, just to reflect this movement here, all the way roughly around there. So what was that hitting? If we get out of the way, 500. So that was nearly 600% growth pattern since this period down here on the 22nd and 23rd of July, all the way up to this point. So that's absolutely substantial growth, really. And fair play to people who've been profit taking. You can't argue with that. It's totally reasonable to be doing that from up this point as well as here. And obviously the profit taking started here, and there was a bit of an intake of people taking the buyback in options. But once we got here, that's when we indicated a few buy points of short term and some longer term ones as well. And it'd be, like I said, it'd be really interesting to see if we hit this mechanism as well. I'm just going to remove these for now, just so we can get some proper clarity on the aspect of the chart here. So there we go, we cleared that up a bit. I'm just going to remove that and back into auto, make sure that's there. So yeah, guys, it's a shame because we couldn't quite get the support level here, and we're still sort of floating around this negative area. So I do have a potential anticipation that we might come back down here over the next few days, maybe up until certainly towards perhaps 19th of September, 20th of September. It might be a gradual drop down, and that's kind of a healthy thing, because we've got to anticipate all these profitabilities being taken to try and potentially get to that. But my hopes are, of course, big believer of Bepro, that we settle down around this particular area. Hopefully we can retrace back to this point, and that would be really, really interesting, because that might start narrowing the MACD, and we might start getting lighter colors in the histogram as well. It was quite interesting because this obviously correlates with a bit of Bitcoin's movement as well. But usually what happens with this histogram drop off in terms of sale volumes, usually you start getting the tail up. It just didn't happen, and that it goes back to my point about this mega rise here of 500%. It's no doubt why. And like I said, we could come and test these potential lower areas, but I think naturally with the market growth as it has happened, and going into October with the momentum of the rest of the crypto assets out there, I'd be mega surprised if we come back all the way down here. But certainly from that point where we measured from here to here, about 60% maximum, I think that's quite realistic. So let us know in the comments below what you think about that analysis. Really interested to know. But also let us know the price predictions of 2021. Really want to be having interest in that for sure. So let's keep an eye on that. But I do believe like the next sort of 48 hours are really going to be interesting, whether we continue the bearish momentum down to this area, or if we can hold support, level off and start rising again. Let's push back up to here. So let's just see how that goes. And I just wanted to pinpoint those key aspects. The RSI, guys, is very low. I would anticipate that potentially coming back down. And if that, to be fair, comes down to around that 35, 32 RSI, that's probably where we'll start hitting here. At that point, guys, I always say like anything kind of like below 40 is quite reasonable to be purchasing, because you lower the risk of further mega drops. That's not financial advice, such as opinion and basis on what we've done successfully so far all of this year in terms of this RSI operation, certainly. So if we can get that turnaround and start getting some momentum on that area as well, close that MACD off and get a switch over, we start pushing up. And then once you take that 40 odd mark and you get to, say 70, 75, 80 upwards, that's when you want to start taking your profits at incremental values. And on the same way down, we always say in all our videos, take profits along the way. You don't know when the top is, and do that on the reversal back as well. Use some of that profit potentially to take accumulation points, and watch the rise up again and do exactly the same. You just don't know. That's why you always have percentage points up and down, and that's why we started doing this a few videos back of these potential buy points, and we'll do the same upwards as well. Once we get the support mechanisms, we can start anticipating, okay, where's a reasonably comfortable position that we want to try and sell some at, and we will not be advising what to do, but we'll certainly do a guideline of what we're doing. Whether you follow that or not is down to you, of course. You do your own research, your own strategies more importantly, but it's always good to get indications of what people are doing and have an interest in the influence of what you want to try and do. Yeah, so let's keep that in mind. Performance wise, oh god, it's negative on the weekly, which includes that Bitcoin day of course as well. Monthly is not looking good at all, but again, the amount of volumes that have been going in this period of time, if you look at this kind of aspect here, we mentioned about 40% growth. This whole aspect here is accumulation of between sort of 20% up and down. So it's not massive volumes really that's gone in between this. So it's not too much of a surprise that that's a negative. 78% up on 3 months. 6 months is still obviously including some of this mega drop that we had over that 2-month period. But in the year to date, guys, we can't be all negative. 1700% still up year to date. So that's actually phenomenal performance on that aspect, and the year as well. So that is fantastic to see. But yeah, this parabolic rise, to be honest, over such a short period of time, it's not a surprise. And generally they say that you see a similar reflection of that on the way back down, but I do believe that there's a lot of confidence that's trying to keep the momentum upwards as much as it can. But yeah, I'm hoping not to see it come all the way down here, because that'd be quite disappointing because of all the momentum and the drive we've done. But if Bepro can obviously keep its roadmap in transition, I think that we could start pushing that up even further organically. But I do have massive anticipations for October, November, people throwing all sorts of price points out there. But I do think if with good pushes that we can at least get to 20 to 30 cents in this potential run this year. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. But I think with the roadmap, if it continues and it ticks those off, we truly can get to those levels, and potentially higher, of course, but I'm trying to keep it a bit lower level-headed rather on that as well. So let's keep an eye on this. We'll do an update in the next 48 hours. If anything critical happens, we'll jump on this as well, and especially if we get down to this area, which I kind of would like personally, but I would also be starting to get a bit concerned if we get to this area that we might get too much bearish momentum and start testing these even further lower levels. I don't want to see that. I want to see us start the push up, push back up to the 1 cent mark and beyond. So guys, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all in the next Bepro update. Thank you and goodbye.